Number 5. Young Thug. Jeffrey Williams, better known by his stage name Young Thug, is an Atlanta native rapper who quickly rose to fame in 2011 after the release of his mixtape I Came From Nothing. But before that, he was living in a housing project that was demolished by the city. He grew up with 11 siblings and they have all had run-ins with the law. One of Thug's brothers is currently in jail for murder and another brother was shot to death when Thug was in elementary school. Thug was later forced to go to a juvenile detention center for 4 years after he got violent with one of his teachers and broke their arm. He began rapping in 2010 and quickly gained popularity being a local rapper in Atlanta. As his Atlanta popularity continued to grow, Young Thug eventually garnered the attention of many celebrity rappers. From there, it's been uphill ever since. Number 4. Rich Homie Quan. Kendrick Lamar, better known by his stage name Rich Homie Quan, is an American rapper and singer from Atlanta, Georgia. In school, Quan was a quiet kid with an interest in poetry. He also played basketball for 4 years in high school. When he lost his job, he got involved in illegal activities which included selling, and that eventually led him to serving 15 months in prison for burglary. He said, "I never saw myself going this far with music. Music was just a hobby at first. I never really saw myself being on stage and rocking out shows. After I got out of jail, I started taking it more serious, and that's when my dreams came true." When he got out of jail, he also decided he wouldn't be shy anymore. He said, "I knew this was all I had and I wanted to go hard at it, so that's what I did." Number 3. Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick was born in Compton, California.
Thinking they hot because they homie said they was a few times, which is too many times a lying to you. They telling a lie. The only time I lie in the booth is when I sleep in it.
His father had been associated with the notorious gangster Disciples Gang.
My jewels is on and I wish one of y'all try to rob me. I shoot and have you land between the sheets with the eyes leaves. We push the coupe like a high speed.
As the 1980s crack trade and West Coast gang presence increased, Lamar grew up around precarious street activity, and he seemed more influenced than harmed by it. He was a good student who enjoyed writing, first stories and poems, and then lyrics. Lamar's family was directly touched by the violence of the streets, yet he remained thoughtful and soft-spoken, ever the keen observer, even as a child. He got the rap name K-Dot and began performing his lyrics as a rapper. At age 16, in 2003, he circulated his first mixtape, which became very popular in Southern California. The project was enough to get Lamar a record deal with Top Dog Entertainment, a respected California independent label and feeder to major labels. Ever since then, it's been nothing but uphill for him. Number 2. Drake. Aubrey Drake Graham was born in Toronto, Ontario. His father is African American and his mother is a white Jewish Canadian.
What's up, everybody? You're chilling with me, Aubrey Graham. You guys want to go for a ride? We can go for a ride. This is my baby, I guess, the living room, and it's nice and elegant, and I kind of leave this alone. It's too much for me.
He attended a Jewish day school and had a bar mitzvah. His parents divorced when he was 5 years old, and he was raised by his mother in 2 Toronto neighborhoods. Drake then began attending high school where he began acting, but he did not graduate. Despite dropping out of high school, years later, he graduated in October 2012. His father had also been to jail 2 separate times, once for 2 years and once for 3. At the age of 15, Drake met an agent, the father of a high school friend. The agent found Drake a role on the comedian TV show Degrassi: The Next Generation as Jimmy Brooks. In the show, Brooks was a basketball star who became physically disabled after he was shot by a classmate. Drake describes how his early acting career affected his family. "My mother was very sick, we were very poor, like broke. The only money I had was coming off the Canadian TV, which wasn't very much when you break it down." In 2006, he self-released his first mixtape called Room for Improvement. In 2010, he released his official debut album, Thank Me Later. The first week of the album's release, it sold 447,000 copies and debuted at number 1 on Billboard 200. Number 1. Lil Wayne. Dwayne Michael Carter Jr. was born in New Orleans, Louisiana. Lil Wayne had been creating music since he was a child, and he is considered amongst today's most talented rappers. He grew up in Holly Grove, one of New Orleans' poorest neighborhoods. Lil Wayne started rapping at the age of 8. He later met brothers Brian and Slim Williams, the founders of Cash Money Records, who were impressed enough with the skills to give him one of their business cards. Ambitious, Wayne continued to call them until they took him under their wing and let him hang around the label's offices. Lil Wayne's first recording for Cash Money Records was True Stories. Away from the studios, he was living dangerously. He sold crack for a time and accidentally shot himself in the chest. He said it was his mom's gun. "It was like a chopper hit me, but the bullet went straight through, and I bounced back in 2 weeks." As a part of the Hot Boys, Lil Wayne got his first taste of success. Their debut album, Get It How You Live, sold more than 400,000 copies. Their next one, Guerrilla Warfare, did even better, eventually selling more than 1 million copies. At the age of 16, Lil Wayne was on his way to music stardom. In 2004, he released The Carter, a hugely popular album that helped cement his reputation as one of rap's leading performers. Now Lil Wayne sold over 15 million copies of his albums worldwide.